What's going on then, guys? It's your boy Ben Gregson, or Dilemma here, coming at you with a updated Numeron Zefra deck profile with the addition of Pot of Disparity, making this deck possibly the most consistent version. Definitely the most consistent control version in my personal opinion. So we'll go through the card by card, and then once we're done with the card by card, I can talk. No editing in this stuff. I'll then talk about why I think this is the best control version, and then I'll go over some very, very simple combos that you need to know. Simply because, like, I see people playing this deck, and they're just doing some little things incorrect that I just want to address and help you guys improve as Zephra players. So let's get right into it. We're playing 3 copies of Planet Pathfinder. This is our only normal summon in the entire deck that actually does something, really. The ability to be able to get to either Numeron Network or Oracle of the Zephra, making this both a starter and like a main combo piece, is pretty ridiculous. As well as, like, in the late game, when you have Planet Pathfinder, it automatically allows you to get to a way to OTK your opponent if you haven't blown through Numeron Network, which means your opponent constantly has to respect it. So that's why we're playing Planet Pathfinder. You could, like, opt to play 1 copy and play some extra hand traps, but in this format I don't think hand traps are super necessary, simply because we're playing Zephra War to out Vanity's Ruler anyway. And, like, Gamma's the most impactful hand trap in the game. You can't play Dimension Shifter in this list because it locks out your Numeron Network, which is why it's in the side deck instead of the main deck. But if you do want to play some extra hand traps, you can cut the 2 Planet Pathfinders for 2 copies of Ash or 2 copies of Crow. Just don't play Droll, because you can't kill your opponent through Droll unless you have Numeron Network. So that's going to be it for the Planet Pathfinders. After that, we're playing 3 Cyframe Gear Gamma and the best Zephra card, a Psychic Soldier that rides into battle against the security forces on Currents of Lightning using an autonomic amplifier called Cyframe. Every Zephra player opens this in multiple copies. Even though you play 1 copy, you still open multiples. He's the best card in the whole deck. You're behind if you're not playing it. Gamma's just the best hand trap right now because obviously Droll's popular, so we need to play an out to Droll in the form of Gamma. Also, it stops silly things like VFD and Zexal, so that's why we're playing Gamma. Then we're playing 2 Zephra Ampilica, 1 Zephra Wendy, 2 Thuban, and 1 Raxaton. You can make an argument that instead of playing Raxaton, you can play a second Zephra Wendy. But I think with the popularity of Eldritch increasing, the Zefraxaton is now needed. But these are totally interchangeable. You can never not play Wendy, so don't cut Wendy from the deck to play 2 Raxaton. That'd be really silly. But you can play like 2 Wendy and not play Raxaton. But the 7 scale counts where I like it at the moment. Triple Zephra, triple the cow, triple of the calf. These don't need explaining. This is the way you get to your Numeron combo consistently. And speaking of Numeron cards, we're playing 1 Calling and 1 Network. You do not need to play more of these cards. For a little while I was playing multiple copies of Network, because sometimes it's nice to just open Network, you know what I mean? But, like, I'm not the biggest fan of opening Network. I'd rather get to it through the combo. And if you open the one-off, you just go it anyway, so makes you feel better. Triple Oracle, triple Prosperity. This is to replace Extrav. Simply because, like, Extrav didn't work in this version because you have so many moving pieces with the Numeron engine. But with Prosperity, you can, like, banish the 4th gate. I usually banish, like, Wind Peg, Nirvana High, and then, like, Blocker, Boral Sword, and something else. Like, realistically, you're using Prosperity for 3 a lot of the time, but sometimes you do need to use it for 6 to dig further, if your hand's really bad. But Prosperity is very, very good, and I think this is a main stake for any control variant now. Some of the other control variants I've been playing 3 Prosperity and 3 Extravagance. But Prosperity for Numeron is, like, definitely the thing we needed to make this deck, like, god tier. And then we have Terraforming Zephra Path. This is the best card. Please tell your opponent to read it every time you activate it. Otherwise, they're just going to misplay into it. Actually, don't tell them. But yeah, this is the card that everybody needs to read. The card text is here. Copy and paste it. Get it ready to paste it in the chat whenever you play this deck. Triple Zephra Providence, 1 9 Pillars, 1 Divine Strike, Triple War. A lot of people have been asking me why I'm not playing multiple Divine Strike in lists. Simply because you can actually Nirvana High Powered and add the Divine Strike back. So you're technically always playing 3 counter traps, especially, like, because the times where a second Divine Strike will come up is in a grind game, and Nirvana High Paladin shines in the grind game. So that's why the Divine Strike is at 1. Triple Zefra War is very good going second, and also quite good going first as well. Like, if you draw this alongside your counter traps or path, you gain an additional disruption, and also this is the only card that requires no requirements other than having a Zefra on the field, including like the field spell. So this is like the most versatile disruption I can talk. Onto the sideboard, we're playing 3 Lancia, 3 Shifter, double Flying Sea, 3 Camion, 3 Cosmic, 1 Harpy's Feather Dusted. This doesn't need explaining, this is for Chuchi and all the back row decks. This is for any deck that plays Dragoon or the Drytron matchup, because you just ping it back to their deck and they can't respond to it. Double Flying Sea is for Zodiac, because the matchup is pretty much unwinnable. Do not side this in against Virtual World. There are so many silly people that are doing that, and they just go, ooh, a level 3 monster I can synchro with. And then you get really sad. So, like, just side Flying Sea in against Zoo and Numeron variants, and you'll be fine. Triple Dimension Shift is broken, and Triple Lancia is obviously just a blowout hand trap that's very good against everything. And then onto the extra deck, we are playing 1 Metaphys Horus, Nirvana High Paladin, Omega, Crocodragon, and Wind Pegasus. This is very necessary. Do not cut Horus. The amount of people that have said to me that Horus is a very slow card and it doesn't come up, in the nicest way possible, you just sound stupid. Right, so this is a non-targeting steal that chain blocks itself. That's right, you heard me. You can use the separate effects in chain to each other. So you can go effect to negate a card on field as chainlink 2, and effect to change control of a card as chainlink 1. So if your opponent does have Dragoon, they can't actually negate the effect of Horus to just pinch their Dragoon off board. I've also used it where I've impermed Vanity's Ruler, and then I've yoinked it, and the Drytron players can't play. This card is so versatile and so strong, especially with the Sheridan in the extra deck as well. If you don't know what Sheridan does, essentially, he treats a monster your opponent originally controlled as a level 6 monster for its XYZ summon. So you can use Horus, take their guy, and then overlay with their guy, add Horus into Sheridan, and then remove another card for free, which is insane. Also, when you're not under your own Zephra path, in certain matchups like August and Shadol, you can actually, like, take Winder or take Dingirsu, and then detach an additional material and summon them back from grave. So you either get a Floodgate on legs in the form of Winder, or you get, like, a send-off Dingirsu. There's also, like, some silly applications with other cards. And then we have the 4 Numeron gates in the Zexal. This does not need explaining. You do need to play 4 for the OTK potential. Please don't just play 3, because you'll regret not playing the 4th. Trust me, I've been there. Barricade, Boral Sword, Lambda, and Gravity Controller. Gravity Controller is for when you Pendulum Summon Zephra, and you need to remove it from the EMZ to make your Divine Strike live. If you've already gone through 9 pillars, that's the way you do it. Also, if you Pendulum Summon Zephra and then turn Zephra into Gravity Controller, that you can then use Path to shuffle the Gravity Controller off of your side of the field, which allows you to use Numeron Network. And then also, like, Boral Sword is a Dragoon out, and also your way of OTKing. Barricade Ball Locker protects your Zephra path and your scales, and adds back Oracle. It's very versatile. And then Lambda is Lambda, which makes your Gammas live. It's very, very good. So now we'll quickly go into solo mode, and I'll show you guys some, like, little combos. And then, yeah, let's go and do that quickly. Alright guys, so we are now in Dueling Book solo mode, and I just kind of grabbed the 4 cards you'll need. Even though it's not 4 cards, you can do this combo with, like, any combination of 1 skill Zephra, Zephraxy, or you can do it with 1 skill Providence Oracle, or you can do it with, like, Oracle, Zephrath, Oracle, Zephrath, Zephra is another way of doing it. Like, there's a million different ways of doing it. But this is, like, the most standard cookie cutter. This is how you do the thing you're supposed to do. So we'll activate Oracle. Use the Oracle to fetch Wrath. Use Zephrath's effect, which is going to send our copy of the cow. Then we're going to scale our Zephraxy. Use the Zephra Providence in hand, which is going to grab another Zephraxy. And then we're going to Pendulum Summon the Zephra from our hand and the Cow from our extra deck. We didn't actually need this, so this can just go back to the deck. This is going to be Chain Link 1, this is going to be Chain Link 2. The Zephra will make the Cow a tuner. We're then going to add a copy of Zephra. We're then going to Synchro Summon into our copy of Ravenous Crocodragon Archethus. Using Archethus as 1 and Oracle as Chain Link 2. We're going to use the effect of Oracle, which is going to stack a Planet Pathfinder on top of our deck, and then we will draw a card. We're then going to normal summon Planet Pathfinder and use the effect, which is going to grab our Oracle of the Zefra. Not Oracle of the Zefra, Numeron Network, Jesus Christ. And then we're going to activate Zefra Path, and use Zefra Path's downside to shuffle back our Croc. Activate Numeron Network, use Numeron Network, sending Numeron Calling, which is going to summon our 3 Numeron Gates. And then we're going to overlay them for a copy of Utopia's Exile. Please make sure it's on the far left to play around Geo and Relinquished Anima. But technically we would still have 2 other cards in hand on top of this. And the way this board works is you can't be Nibiru'd because Zefra Path stops your opponent from summoning tokens, which means they legally cannot summon a Nibiru to their side of the field and tribute all your cards as summon a token, which is already like insane. Your Zexal also can't be Gammaed unless they hard open Driver, which means the only thing you have to worry about is Imperm and Droplets. Droplets is seeing a drop in play, pun intended, and so is Impermanence. So realistically this Zexal always resolves and then you get a free turn to just push their shit in, or an additional other turn after that. So what I'll do is I'll reset my deck quickly, and we'll see how many hands can actually get us through this. So just this hand's looking a little awkward, but it's fine. So we'll activate Prosperity. We'll banish Nirvana High Paladin. We'll banish our 4th gate, Barricade, Boral Sword, the Wind Pegasus, and Sheridan. Apparently that one wanted to stay face up, and then we will mill 6. So that can add us a copy of Zephyr Providence. You should add Zephra there, really, to play around Droll. But our hand doesn't beat Droll anyway, plus we already have Gamma, so it doesn't really matter. So if the Gamma resolves, we have Omega, so we'll quickly Omega our opponent here for hypothetical scenarios. So we have Omega Rip a card. They've already used a card, which has baited the Omega route. We're then going to Zephyr Providence, which is going to grab the Rock, and then we're going to Oracle, which is going to grab Zephra. The reason you scale the Zephra is because it's also a scale you can pop with 9 pillars. We're then going to use our Zephrath, which is going to send our Zephra to the extra. Pendulum Summon Zephra. Use Zephra to grab our copy of 9 pillars, or our copy of Path. Usually on boards like this, I'd like to establish 9 pillars over Path a lot of the time. We can establish Path in the late game. And then we have 9 pillars. Also, it stops our Gamma from being live, which is why we also wouldn't Path here. So we have a 9 pillars, and we also have a disguised action in the form of Zephra War. This is the other reason Zephra was so good and why it's a 3 of, is because it's always disguised and your opponent doesn't know when this is going to come. Because I have 2 Zephra scales, I can use this from hand, which means my opponent's never ever going to see this coming, right? And also I can pop the Oracle instead of popping the Zephra, which means my 9 pillars will always be live. And then the next time we get a search off the Zephra because we popped it with the 9 pillars. We have Gamma, we have the Omega coming back, we have access to Wendy and Raxaton, and we're just going to start punishing our opponent for being bad. Also, we can then do the Croc combo because we didn't Path, which means we can Zexal them afterwards. So there's infinite lines of play that are very, very strong after this turn 1 board. And like, an Omni Negate, a Monster Negate, and Zephra War is very, very hard for any deck to break in the game. So yeah, let's do another test end. And there you see that Prosperity literally got us to everything we needed. This is full combo. We won't pretend that Gamma activated because I can't be bothered to get the driver out of the deck. So Oracle is going to grab another Raxi. Scale Wrath. Send Zephra. Scale Raxi, Pendulum summon the Raxi and the Zephra. Zephra Chainlink 1, Raxi Chainlink 2, grab our copy of Zefra Path. If you do not have Providence in the graveyard, please use your Zephra to add the Providence before you add the Zefra Path, just to give your path some additional protection from its own effects. Then we're going to summon Croc, Oracle Croc, which is going to stack and draw a Planet Pathfinder. We're then going to normal summon Pathfinder, and then use the Pathfinder's effect. Grab ourselves a copy of Numeron Network. Activate Zephra Path, returning the Croc Dragon. Activate Numeron Network. Send Calling. Summon our 3 gates. And then Zexal. Move the Zexal all the way over here. And then we have Zefra War plus Zexal. And then a draw for turn, and we draw Prosperity, and we continue to grind, and we just win the game. So, once again, very, very strong opening hand. Also had Gamma for my opponent's turn if they went first twice. This hand is combo again. Plus, we already hard opened the Numeron Network, which means we can stack Gamma and make a Lambda if we want. There's all sorts of cool lines of play there. This hand's very awkward, but we do have Oracle for Wrath, Wraths and Raxi, and then we can Pendulum summon the Raxi, and we have a Counter Trap plus Zefra Wall, and a draw for turn, which is Wrath again. But once again, the hand is playable, granted, slightly weaker than the other hands we've had. This hand is once again fully playable. Once again, very playable. Do you see how like every hand is a very similar thing? This hand is combo. Because Terraforming at Oracle, Oracle at Raxi, then we have Zephrath Raxi 1 scale. Once again, Zephrath Raxi 1 scale. Plus Zephra Wall. This is another Zephraxi pass. But then we draw, yep, that hand can go in the bin. This is 9 Pillars plus Zefra Path, which is very, very strong. And Divine Strike as well. And then follow-up. This is Scale Zefra, Set War, Set Divine Strike. We still have 2 interruptions plus Gamma. And then we draw Zefra Sabin. See? Like, it's fine. Sometimes the deck's kind of... I gotta show the good and the bad as a content creator, right? This hand is full combo again, especially with Prosperity. Prosperity usually gets us there. Yeah. Once again, full combo. So in like, what, 8 test hands, we open full combo 5 times. 1 very mediocre hand. And then 2 almost bricks that still had ways of us playing the game and not just hard losing to our hand being bad. So that is going to be it for today's video, guys. If you guys did enjoy the video, please hit the like button. Please remember to subscribe to the channel. It takes you 2 seconds. Just scroll down on your phone or on your tablet or on your computer, and there's a little red button that says subscribe, and then a notification bell next to it so you know when I'm going live and doing live streams, which I do quite often. And also when I'm recording videos and posting videos and all that good stuff. We are in the race to 1K subs. I started uploading properly at the start of this year, on January 1st, at 400 subs. We're now at 760, which is absolutely wild. So if you guys can help me to get to 1K, that would be absolutely fantastic and would mean the absolute world to me. And also, before we go, I'm going to leave a link to my Discord in the description down below. It is there every single video. If you guys want to come talk to me and some other legendary Zephra players like Musa, and also Magecko, or Labras as he's known on DB. We're all there, we're all very talkative. We all discuss theory and all that good stuff, so if you want to know any other Zephra stuff, then come on over. And yeah, that's going to be it for today's video. I've been your boy, Dilemma YGO, or Ben Gregson, all that good stuff. Stay hydrated, and have an absolutely fantastic day. Peace.